Hi, I'm Nick Vitellari, and welcome to the Road to Reinvention 2019 conference. I'm here today with Philip Nelson, who's the Director of Engineering for Google Accelerated Science, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about AI, which is something that everybody wants to know about. Philip, the interesting thing is, isn't AI in some ways just a sophisticated pattern recognition technology?
Absolutely. That's very much what it is. So it's finding, or I should say that the revolution in AI that's happening now is based on the ability to find patterns in raw data and to find patterns very, very easily and quickly. Like we have some amazing work diagnosing a diabetic disease from retinal pictures. Mm-hmm. And humans kind of knew what the disease was. There's orange spots or dried plasma and dark spots or hemorrhages. But we were just able to give the machine a bunch of images and a bunch of diagnoses, the diagnosis on that image, and it found those patterns. Wow. And it actually found those patterns way better than anybody handcrafting patterns. Wow. Google machine translation software has had just a revolution in quality, and it used to be that we used to have to pair individual words together, and now we're able to just give it basically documents that's from UN transcripts, and it just figures out the patterns. Now you have to give it lots of data for it to find those patterns, but that's what they are. And pattern matching is very powerful, but it's not really deep understanding. It's not really thinking. It's not generating the set of rules. One example I gave in my talk was that we can mount a camera over a pool table and learn based on the motion of the cue where all the balls are going to go. But that's not F equals ma. That's not the elasticity of bumpers. That's not friction. So, but it's pretty useful if you want to figure out where the balls are going to go. So it's practically useful in many cases, but it's not really understanding, at least not yet.
Fascinating. So this pattern recognition, of course, is done very rapidly too, right? As the power of the computation gets more.
We have fleets of computers in Oregon that's grinding away on this, but yes, rapidly by any other sense of the word.
So it could actually be a pattern that a human could sense, but it just does it faster, possibly.
Yeah, though we're beginning to see patterns that humans haven't even sensed. So like for diabetic retinopathy, the humans knew what the features of the disease were, but we recently had a paper out in Nature where we could predict your risk of a significant cardiovascular event just by looking at a picture of your retina.
No kidding.
And that was a total surprise. I wouldn't say a total surprise. The retina, is one of the few places where you can visualize both the vasculature and the neurons. So there turns out that there's information probably in the vasculature in your eye that predicts your risk of cardiovascular, but no human had tried to see that or even thought to see that. So we're beginning to see new patterns that not even humans had seen before.
So is this technology kind of on the, everybody's excited about it, right? Is it of the significance at this point? We used to have expert systems, right? And that really didn't, it has some applicability, but not a broad applicability. Yeah. Is this kind of like mobile? Is this kind of like the internet? Is it of that scale?
I think it's here to stay. I lived through the AI winters of the previous times about the rule-based systems, and it turns out, I don't know if I'm going to get this quote properly, but I heard this from Jeff Dean, my boss, that it's very complicated to teach computers how to be clever, but we've taught them we've managed to teach them how to learn how to be clever. And what I mean by that is if you're trying to write rules about every situation, these systems just fall over like the expert systems. Yeah. But if we just give the machine examples and let it find the patterns, that seems to work surprisingly well. So I think it's absolutely here to stay. I mean, it's already available in so many systems. I mean, everything from which movies Netflix recommends to you and filtering out spam and credit card fraud. And if you use Gmail, you start typing and it starts typing suggestions which are, ahead of you, which is
amazing.
Yeah, there's a voice recognition, even to speak to Google Home or to Alexa or to Siri. That's all based on, similar technology. We're seeing lots of things going on in healthcare. Like, this is here to stay. I think, there's the hype cycle where it goes up and then people get disappointed and then it comes back around again. I still think we're climbing the hype cycle, and there'll be disappointments ahead. But and in particular, there's a lot of ways to do this wrong too. But this is really a profound change that's going to impact us for the rest of our lives.
Well, thanks, Philip. I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
My pleasure.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
So that's Philip Nelson from Google. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.